Reesa Teesa has grown over 1.3 million followers in the past 7 days. Now, I want to go ahead and break down all the things that she did right and how you guys can replicate that as well. Now, before I get started, I want to let you guys know that I have a 12-week live cohort with Mila J. Her and I are going to be collabing for a 12-week live cohort program that you guys can go ahead and join. Check the description and apply. The enrollment closes March 15th, so go ahead and check it out. All right, this is Reesa Teesa's account, and she's gained over 1.3 million followers in the past 7 days. And it's a really amazing feat. And the one thing that she did was she created a 50-part series, and she posted it over the course of about 5 days. And one of the things that you notice is that for the most part, her videos were 9, 6, 8 minutes long, 9 minutes long, 7 minutes long, 9 minutes long, 9:30. And so what she didn't do was have a bunch of fluff in there. And so what a lot of people liked is that it went from A to B to C to D, all the way to Z, and she didn't repeat herself and she didn't do any of those things that made it feel like she was dragging them out. Now, another thing I want you to note here before we get started is that she was probably a lot like you guys as well. She was posting a lot of clipped content, meme content. She was posting a lot of content that is like repurposed type of content and not her showing her face. And so she was doing this throughout the last part of 2023 year, but finally she started to put herself out here, and she went ahead and she did this 50-part series of Who Did I Marry? And so this is part 1 and goes all the way to part 50. And so one thing that I want you guys to know is she took a chance and she became vulnerable, and her content seems really authentic here. I'll show you a video here in a second, but ultimately she decided to stop doing the faceless stuff and to ultimately show her face and go ahead and do that. Now, there are some ways that you can still get away with faceless stuff, but this is the easiest way to grow by far, and it's what TikTok wants to see. So this is the first video right here, and I want you to notice a couple things that you guys can take away from her. So first off, the lighting. The lighting's not very good by any means, but it's raw. It's authentic. And she's got that red light on her from a light because it's dark out. She's in the car. She's got her seatbelt on. And, she even does the millennial pause for the first few seconds where she doesn't say anything for the first few seconds, but she clicks record and she goes ahead and she talks. And, her subject is, who the heck did I marry? We'll say it that way for YouTube. And then she went ahead and did part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5, right? And so she posted all of those in one day. And then she went from 6, 7, 8. And then, she posted like 3 to 7 parts per day. And that's, like I said, that's a really hard, and that's something that I normally wouldn't condone, because most times your videos don't have enough real estate. There's not enough real estate on the For You page for your videos to do well. But when you go viral as she did, the amount of views that TikTok and engagement that TikTok lets come into your account is so much different. So she was able to get away with doing this. But the first thing I want you to notice is how authentic her content is, how vulnerable she became in her content, and how that brought some, and that means as she continued to post, people liked her personality. They liked the story. They were entertained with the story and the way that she told it authentically. And so that was a big piece of it. Now, the second piece, besides being authentic, is her intrinsic value that she brought. She told a really touching story, like, the twists and turns and those kind of things. And it became intrinsically valuable in terms of entertainment. Now, you can be intrinsically valuable in terms of entertainment, education, inspiration, and that kind of value. And so her value was the pure entertainment, the drama that people love to follow, and people found it really entertaining. And so a lot of these people binged all 50 parts. Now, I saw a couple comments too that said they almost treated it like a documentary where they put it up on their TV, which is a pretty good sign, as well as some people treated it like a podcast documentary where they let it play through their playlist, and they just went from part 1 all the way to part 50, which is a cool way to do it as well. But, she was intrinsically valuable in terms of the way that she was entertaining. Okay. Now, the final thing and the most important thing is the bingeability factor. Now, I've been talking about this a lot since I even started my account in March. Being bingeable is the most important part of TikTok. And it's one of the best signs of TikTok that you are an authority, that you are valuable. And with her doing 50 parts and people binging all of them shows how much authority, how much TikTok trusts her, and how much people actually enjoyed the content. And so that should be one of the goals that you guys are trying to aspire for as well, is to get as many average views per viewer as possible, which means you're trying to get a single viewer to watch more than one video from you. Okay. And there are several ways that you can do that. One of the ways that you could do that is through these parts, right? Part 1, part 2, part 3. I'm probably not going to do 50, but at the end here, I'll give you a different way, a modified way that you can go ahead and do this the same way. Another way that you can do that is with playlists. Once you get to 10,000 followers, you can use playlists to get people to binge your content about a singular topic and get people to watch 3, 4, 5, 10 videos from you, which is another way. And then the final way that I like to do it, I'll go to my account here really quick. One of the ways that I like to do it is I tag a video in right here. Let's see, I tag a video in each one of my, you can't see it actually here, here because you can't do it on desktop, but on mobile, this criteria part right here, this right here is a link to a new video, a different video on my page. Okay. And so what happens is I do the YouTube style of call to action at the end of my video. If you want to know the criteria for the TikTok trust score, go ahead and check the description. And so I have people check the description for the criteria. They go ahead and click on this video and then they go ahead and watch that video. And so that's one of the ways that I help with doing the average views per viewer and getting more people to view my content at one time or to binge my content. Now, the other way that you can do this, the modified way, this is the way that I was telling you before. The modified way is to go ahead and post quality content. She posted 50 times in 5 days. That is not, for 99% of people, is not going to work. But what you can do is you can post 50 pieces of good content over the course of 30 to 50 days, right? And doing it more quality because it's going to help you in the long run of being bingeable. The reason that my account is still doing well is because people found the content that I posted before to still be relevant and to still be bingeable and to still be useful, right? And so once you accumulate 50 to 100 videos, quality videos, when one video goes crazy, when one video goes viral, that gives the opportunity for people to binge your content. Now, if you post a bunch of fluff content, post 3 times a day just because you're trying to hit a quota, you might run into the problem where people are not going to binge your content. They really don't know what your content is about, or they don't really care about you enough to watch the rest of your videos. If that happens to you, that's going to be one of the reasons why you don't succeed on TikTok. So you really want to find ways to make your content more bingeable. Now, with that being said, with those 50 quality videos or those 30 quality videos in say like 50 days, something like that, we're posting one per day around that pace. When you hit a home run, that's when you can post multiple times per day because you're going to get excess traffic from that video. So what you can do is reply to a comment with a video. You could do that. You could also just do a part 2 to that video because you know the subject is working, right? And you can also go ahead and, just like I showed you with my account, you can go ahead and tag a video in your description so that they go ahead and watch that video, and you can go ahead and just keep back tagging as you do part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. Okay. And so being bingeable is the biggest reason ultimately why Reesa did so well in such a short time. And so that's one of the things that you can replicate. And you don't have to post 50 times per day, but you can post a bunch of quality and then go ahead and tag videos to get people to watch more than one video from you. And, or you can do these part series, 1, 2, 5, 10 part series and try it that way as well. So hopefully this helps, guys. This is something that you guys can learn here from Reesa. And I wanted to make sure I went ahead and broke it down because this is pretty new. Like I said, she's only about a week old in terms of her new virality. And I wanted to go ahead and break down the most important parts for you. Now, if you guys want to go ahead and learn more about how the TikTok algorithm is working right now, go ahead and check this video right here.